At 5 o'clock in the morning at US Bank Stadium, we really get to just soak in what it's like to stand in a vacant building that is about to turn into magic. I'm Alyssa Erdman. I'm the guest experience manager with the Minnesota Vikings. At US Bank Stadium and any Vikings event, our main goal is to create memorable experiences. From a game day perspective, I'm usually there between 5 to 6 o'clock in the morning, and I'm helping to make sure that everything that we touch on a game day is fully set up. Guest experience booths, Mamava, which is our lactation pods, sensory room, which is for anybody that has PTSD or a sensory need on game day. And it also makes sure too that all of our staff are optionally prepared, that all of the different kind of odds and ends things, whether that be a giveaway or another kind of surprise and delight experience for our season ticket members, is perfectly set up before we open up those doors at 10 o'clock for a noon kickoff. Thanks for being here today. We appreciate it.
Thank you for letting me be here today.
Of course. We have a bunch of different teams that all work collectively together on game day to make US Bank Stadium come alive, and there's about 3,000 people that we have to make sure that that all happens. We have a stadium security team, and then we have an event day security team, and then we have ASM Global, which is like kind of the operator. They do things from cleaning services all the way to guest experience, and then we also have Airmark, which is anything food and beverage, and then the Vikings, then us internally have a bunch of folks too that help to make the day come alive, whether that be down in game presentation or mobile ticketing. All kind of run through the Vikings too. Today should be fun, really exciting. Hopefully we have some good energy in the building today. Excited to see our fans kind of for our second home stand here. So there's multiple meetings that lead up to us opening gates at 10 o'clock for a noon kickoff. And so the first one that I always have at 8 a.m. is with my leads. So I meet with them to make sure that they have as much information as possible, because they're the extension of me on game day to the rest of our intern crew, which makes up about 25 other people. And so they are kind of that group that needs to be the all-knowing individuals if I can't get to something. The next briefings that we have up in the Voyage are our Viking Black Jacket briefing.
Happy game day! A little bit of a grind with the home schedule that we have, but appreciate you being here.
The Viking Black Jackets are our concierges to any of our premium spaces like suites and clubs, and I'm usually just there for moral support. That's really kind of leaning on our premium experience team, which is led by Austin Hansen and Vanessa Reed.
It's really an exciting game because last week we had Salute to Service, right? This week we have My Cause, My Cleats. Next week we have Winter Whiteout. So there's a lot going on, but excited to get you guys out there in front of everybody today.
I will talk about it every time, voice of the fan. We're there, we're right there. Just a few more touch points every game, just a few.
Voice of the Fan is the NFL league-wide survey, and so it's sent out to a lot of our fans post-game day, and it looks at their experience from arrival all the way to departure. We have 3,000 team members that make US Bank Stadium possible on game day, and so having this type of measurement is really helpful for us to see how is everybody doing in that consistent touch point with our fans throughout a game day experience.
It'll give us even more bragging rights to the NFL league so that they know who is the best in the business, because you are.
And then right after that, in the Voyage, we do have our full intern briefing. And so that's anybody that's our ambassador crew. So those that are helping out with ticketing issues, helping with service recovery on the concourses. That's that group that's roaming and is ultimately an extension of the Vikings on game day. And then right after that, we had a really huge briefing in the Polaris Club. That is where our ASM Global guest experience team is. And so those are our ushers, our ticket takers, our guest experience booth attendants. They do work for the stadium, not the Minnesota Vikings, but it's really fun as the Vikings to come down into that space, reinvigorate them, show our appreciation as team members, and also get them really excited for what can be long days, but really exciting days too.
Are they all here? Oh, look at that. All right, guys, you come on through. Good to see you.
My name is Naomi Evans, and I am a community relations coordinator at the Minnesota Vikings.
All righty, guys. So one, it's so good to see you all again. It feels like we were just together yesterday. So the fact that it's been a few months, it feels like so full circle. But just as we know, I really think we were the good luck charms because they were on a good winning streak because of us.
Vets Voyage is an annual opportunity that we do in partnership with Hy-Vee, where we work with United Heroes League to identify 5 veterans to provide a once-in-a-lifetime experience to. What they all knew is that they were going to have a all-expense-paid trip to New York City and attend a Minnesota Vikings away game. However, we looked to surprise them with a little bit more. They didn't know before that they were going to be attending our Salute to Service game and actually be recognized during halftime. Once they arrived at 8:45, they then proceeded to go down to the field to kind of walk through their halftime recognition.
How are you guys feeling? Yay!
Surreal, like this is actually happening.
So that was nice to be able to just have them on the field and kind of just take in what it will feel like when all of our fans are there. After that, we then headed up to Valhalla Suite.
Right over into our High B suite. So we can just take a look at everything. What do you guys think?
This is amazing.
A lot of different aspects to it, so we really wanted to make sure it was all decked out for our Salute to Service game. So guys, what if I told you this is actually where you're sitting? Like I said, you have done so much for our country, and so this is the least that we can do is to be able to give you this suite, thanks to sponsored by Hy-Vee. So.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
I'm the voice that people hear in the press box, telling them what's going on in front of them, but probably from a little more official standpoint. Hi, I'm Dave Mona. I'm the press box announcer on Game Day. This was my 50th year, which came as a bit of a surprise. I came in, I joined the guys, I got something to eat, and I'm sitting at the table, and they said, well, nice going. And I said, something's going on, guys, and I don't know what it is. He said, well, you're on the screen. And there was a changing screen in there with announcement sorts of things that the PR staff puts together. There's my picture, and the thing that says celebrating his 50th season as official voice of the press box. I thought, well, how nice is that? But I thought that was it. And then all of a sudden, the door opens, and you just sense something going on in the back of the press box, I think, laughing and multiple numbers of people coming in.
Dave, we have a little gift for you.
Oh.
Happy 50 seasons. We appreciate everything you do.
Oh, thank you. Appreciate it. Hey, guys. Can I open it? All right, yeah.
It was a well-kept secret for as many people who had to have known what was going on. I was not one of them.
Whoa! All right. Holy, nice. Oh my goodness. Look at that. Thank you. I'd wear it except for the whiteout. Thanks, everybody. This is great. Appreciate it.
Stats have become so important in how players are compensated, traded, drafted, retained, and their agents, and they are watching all the time because they're being evaluated at every aspect of the game. And what's the backup for that? It's stats.
Dallas Turner, 15 all by himself.
9-yard sack. Credited to Turner, 4th down punting unit.
Some people won't believe this, but sacks were not an official stat for probably, I'd say, into the 70s. And so some of those numbers you see on stats of people like the Purple People leaders were recreated from film because the sacks were, or I'm not even sure if the term sack came along till 68 or 70 or something like that. So there's a stat that grew up, but there are other ones.
43 got a hand on him to trip him. Phil, take a look at that. Was it 43 or 97 on that?
What used to be marginally important, now you have people, saying, I got a hand on that ball, I tapped that ball, and they'll even make some adjustments afterwards. But how it's become involved in the evaluation of the game and the players of the game has changed massively from when it was just kind of a convenience.
Ooh, that heater feels nice. We really lucked out that there is a labor union that actually worked with US Bank Stadium when it was being built, that built a new building right across the street that we are able to utilize on game days and host our season ticket members in. There is heat in there is food, there is beverages. It is a wonderful space for our season ticket members, especially in the month of December, to go and mingle and build a better community. When I actually make my way to that space on game day, it's really fun to see our season ticket members, but my big thing there too is to check in with my intern staff, because they're the ones that are helping to do the activations, that things are running smoothly, and getting their feedback so that we can continuously enhance that experience for our season ticket members. Have a good one.
Thank you.
You ready to push some people? I love it. We're gonna keep doing it.
All the doors to your right are gonna get you in faster. The door behind me is going a little slower. If you head to your right, you're gonna get in faster. Absolutely. Welcome, everyone.
Is that here or do you go around that way?
So what I would recommend, because the line's shorter, go around the corner here, enter at the Polaris gate, and then just keep walking straight. You'll see Gold Lobby, head up that escalator, and then you'll be right at the club itself.
The Polaris gate?
Yes.
Thank you.
Yeah, absolutely. Have a great time, guys. And I think it's a little bit of a misconception when it comes to guest experience is we're not necessarily always the people that when you pick up a phone, it's going to be the guest experience team. Our job actually is to really understand the fan experience. Was it easy for you to get there? Did you find parking easily? How was your parking attendant? And just the very small intricacies of the fan experience are things that I focus on every single game day. So it's really broken down to really understand the true touch points that we have and what is our impact as the Minnesota Vikings on all of those touch points. So it's a very interesting part of my job, but it's also my favorite part of my job because we want to have the best fan journey possible.
Here's your first quarter stats. First down, Chicago 4, Minnesota 5. Passing, Chicago 8, Minnesota 34. Penalties, Chicago has 0, Minnesota for 1 for 5 yards. Turnovers, Bears 1, Vikings 0.
I'm part of the official stats crew. I make announcements after every play and basically say
6 yards on the rush, 2nd and 4.
Well, they might have looked at it and said, wow, that looked like a 5-yard gain, but they must have given them 6. So what they're getting from me is after our discussion and weighing in and making sure that we have the official stats. I think people will be impressed and amazed at how the team works, but people speak in sequence. They all have things that they're watching, and then someone has to type the play-by-play, and it's always in the certain sequence. And so when somebody's time to go, they'll say
53 tackle, 31 assist, 5-3-3-1 TA.
Ball's in the 7.
Passing
9 yards. First and goal.
9 yards on the completion. First and goal from the 7.
It's teamwork. It's absolutely seamless. People are really respectful of anybody else because they know if they talk out of turn, they're covering a valuable piece of information that's got a fraction of a second to be given to the person typing the play-by-play.
Catch 85.
Right, 48.
tackle by 1.
Ball's on the home. 38. 14 yards.
14 yards on the pass completion to Komet. First down to the Viking 38.
Thanks to help from the Viking PR department, Carly will come down and she'll hand me a piece of paper, and it's the injury update. And that's one thing they really listen for.
It's an injury update. 75 of the Vikings, Brian O'Neill, injured knee. His return is questionable.
And the network people get that almost simultaneous. Sometimes I'm a little bit ahead, so I say that, but I also say it in the press box, and that's something that people listen for. I announce official attendance.
Tonight's attendance is 67,017. 67,017.
And then sometimes there are announcements that they like to have made.
We have a lost key fob that was found.
Probably the most interesting was a couple of years ago, I got to announce the death of my radio partner. I got a phone call from my wife in the press box on my cell phone, and I've been doing this for years, and she never calls me during a game because she knows I'm busy. And I thought, this is really unusual. I said, Linda, what's going on? I think there was maybe a lull in the action, and she said, I just got a call and Sid Hartman died this morning. Well, I'd been on the radio for 40 years with Sid, and I'd known Sid since I was 7 years old. Hagen had gotten a call about the same time I did. And he came down and he looked at me, he said, you know? I said, yeah, I just got a call from home. And he said, why don't you wait for a lull in the action, and the next one, will you announce that Sid died this morning? So by far in all the years I've been doing, that was the most interesting and most different thing I've ever said. The network guys, who all knew who Sid was, could hear my announcement. They said, is that going to be a big story? And I said, it's going to be a huge story. And they said, we'll run with it too. So it got told that way. But I mean, I had the attention of everybody in the press box. I could just feel them all looking down at me because they all knew that I'd known Sid for all those years and had worked with him for all those years. But still, that he died during a Viking game, there was a certain amount of irony there.
Probably 7 minutes left of the second quarter. Our vets were taken down to the field where they would be prepared for the halftime recognition. My part in the halftime was, number one, making sure that they were all organized before they even made it to the field. And I think with that, a lot of them had a lot of jitters. So making sure that they were calm, reassuring to them that this is not the scariest thing ever, especially when you have fought for our country.
And so what's gonna happen is I'm gonna take them out, and then Logan will take you guys off to the side.
Okay, thank you.
How you feeling, Paul? You looking kind of nervous over here.
Make sure you're well talked up. Keep them in line.
I know. They're the ones I'm worried about.
On the trip, I had the opportunity to see just how amazing each of them were. And so to have the opportunity where all of our fans got to see the same thing I saw was like truly remarkable, because I know that a lot of veterans, they don't get the thanks that they deserve. So being able to have that opportunity where they are thanked by 67,000 fans. It was a really nice treat, and it was an experience that I will always remember.
Thank you for your service. Veterans, on behalf of Hy-Vee, you are receiving free groceries for 1 year.
They didn't know anything about the groceries, so everything on our Salute to Service game was a surprise.
How was that?
After all the excitement of being recognized during halftime, we then had to get them off the field, and there was a lot of excitement still. So it's kind of like herding cats after all that excitement and being able to say, all right, guys, now we got to come down a little bit and then make our way back to the suite.
Walk and skull, walk and skull. All right, guys, you guys got to follow me.
I know. I mean, those are a fun hot commodity. I think that's really good. There's so many really unique things that can happen in our guest services booth, and I kind of joke that they're ultimately the encyclopedia of US Bank Stadium and can help you with anything under the sun. Truly, I think at times it's the most underutilized thing that we have, and so it's really nice that our fans have an accessible point to contact the Minnesota Vikings, to contact US Bank Stadium. For example, like if it's my birthday, I can go grab a happy birthday pin. And then there's so many other unique things, whether it be if I would like a sensory bag, we have sensory bags for anybody to rent out during game day, or headphones, or really anything under the sun. Okay. Okay, do you want the new tickets, or do you want me to hold? Okay. And then there's directions for them. They are gonna have to go up the elevator. Back in 2022, we started our Gameday internship program, and it was in partnership with the University of St. Thomas primarily. But then it's now really grown to this awesome opportunity for college students within the Twin Cities area, and even a little bit outside. We have some folks coming from Eau Claire and Winona, Minnesota, and so they really are an important part for us on game day. And so for anybody that's looking to join the Gameday internship program, is currently in college and wants to join our team, all of those applications will come out in March, and then they get to hopefully join our team, and they'll help to support our training camp processes as well as game day, but then also do a lot of professional development along the way.
This is the game summary from the NFC Championships in 1974.
Oh my God. Oh my God, look at this. Oh, I know all these names. Wow. I mean, when you compare this side by side with what people, this looks like it's out of the dark ages. I remember it well. I remember this form. Everything's crossed out. This was before the IBM Selectric, when you could make your mistakes disappear. People have actually physically gone on here and written on it and crossed things out. I mean, the thought of that, nobody even touches the paper anymore, but this is fascinating. Oh my God, here's the kind of stuff. There's X-outs instead, because we couldn't correct our mistakes quickly enough. There's a lot of legendary names on here, but just the look at the page reminds me of how I don't want to say amateurs, because it wasn't amateurish, but it's. I mean, the tools we worked with were just so archaic looking compared to the way a page would look today.
All right, 1, 2, 3. 3, 2, 1. Good job.
My favorite part of the job is just being able to identify ways that the Vikings could get more involved in the community and really showcase how we can continue being that community pillar for a lot of our community members.
So nice to meet you. Thank you so much for the performance. Oh my gosh, it was a blast. I think that my favorite part of the job is that we are so empowered to make somebody's experience, and I never go into the mindset of just oh my gosh, I could make or break this person's experience. It's no, I get to make their experience better, because by being in a situation that somebody's not that happy, I love that challenge, because I get to now help be the Minnesota Vikings to them. Yes, I'm not a player, I'm not a coach, but I get to be what they see as the Minnesota Vikings, and I think that is such a truly special role. And I think that that's a really unique portion of my job and something that I look forward to doing every single day.
Played first and 10 of their own 20.
The pressure to do the job well, how that's shared by everybody in there who really do feel as much part of a team as the people on the field. And what we do is important, but we do it in such a fun way that at the end of the game, everybody kind of takes a deep breath and says, I'll see you next week. We've often said it's too bad that we're in such a cramped space, because I think people who are intrigued by statistics and numbers would come in there and just go, But my son, for instance, my older son has been a guest in there a couple of times. He said, my dad's got the coolest job in the world. He said, you just wouldn't believe how interesting it is to be in there during a game to watch that stats crew in action. To be part of it is a special thing.